This is the best of the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball and Mark.
Brian, you're on with Mark and Meatball.
Okay.
Good morning, Brian. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm good. Lads, am I talking to Mark or Meatball?
You got it, man. That's right. Welcome to the Rocker Morning Show, the one and only Brian Johnson from ACDC. Thank you for joining us today, man.
It's a pleasure, lads. It's a pleasure.
Well, hey, before we get to your book, because we're excited about this and we really want to talk about it, I saw something recently, an interview you did about meeting Paul McCartney for the first time, and I have to say it was kind of endearing to see that even the biggest rock stars of our generation still kind of get tongue-tied when they meet their own idols. So can you tell me a little bit about that encounter with Paul?
Yes, sure. It was Ringo's birthday party.
Oh, okay.
Out in England, in the countryside, you know, and all that. And there was a big old party and a big old buffet there, you know.
Yeah.
Vegetarian, of course. And I was sitting trying to figure out what was what. And he tapped us on the shoulder and he said, hello, Jody, because, you know, that's what they call us.
Right.
Where we're from. And I turned around, and it was him. It was Paul McCartney. This guy thing that could sing anything, and I just went, you know, and I just became tongue-tied. You know, honestly, it sounded like I was breaking teeth in for a friend. It was really awful.
Yeah.
And then he just started talking to me, and, you know, like, so what are you doing here? You know, how's the band? You know, and all of these lovely things. And I found that with most of these heroes that you meet that really are just the nicest people.
Right.
You know, and it always surprises me that, you know, that you can talk to them, and
sure,
you know, but that's so invisible. You know, when would you? I remember when I was in Newcastle many years ago. I wasn't in ACDC. I wasn't even in. I think it was Geordie and all that. And he played at the City Hall, and I caught a glimpse of him at the end, climbing into a limousine, you know, and going off with a band, and sitting there going, "Wow, I wonder what that must be like." You know, it's you know, it's just one of them things, you know, that you know, so a lot of people say don't meet your heroes. In some cases, it's true. Like with Chuck Berry, he wasn't a nice man at all. You know, he was you know, we toured with him in Germany, which is, it's in the book, you know, and all that. And we were so excited, Chuck Berry, and he was a bit of a bugger, that man. He was.
Wow.
Wow. He wasn't a pleasant man.
Oh, man.
I remember I used all of our equipment, you know, during the 4 gigs we did with him. He used all our equipment, our PA system, our backline, you know. And at the end of it all, I went up and I said, "Hello, Mr. Berry, my name's Brian, and I sing with the opening band. And, you know, you've been using all our equipment. I wondered if I could get an autograph, please."
Yeah.
And he said, "I do 1 autograph a day, and I've already done it."
Oh, no!
What the trash?
I said, "You rotten..." Well, I wouldn't.
Oh, my gosh.
I said, "Oh, what a swine." But I've met other people as well who said, "No, you don't want to even try to talk to that lad."
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
He's somewhere.
Right.
Well, you did write in your new book, The Lives of Brian. It's available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. While dealing with the recent hearing loss incident, it kind of starts with you coming into the band, replacing Bon Scott, but really how you came in and grabbed the wheel and proved that you could not only fill those shoes, but really solidify your own era with the band. Is that the mentality you had going into the audition, was, I'm going to make this mine?
Well, lads, it was... I went in my head, I wasn't going to get this job, okay? I was in a good little band up in Newcastle. I had come down to Newcastle to London to record an advert for Hoover.
Uh-huh.
Honestly. And I said, well, when I'm down there, I might as well go in, but I know I'm going to waste their time and my time. And I knew that they knew my name because Bon Scott had mentioned it because me and Bon Scott played together in 1973 when his band supported my band in England, in Torquay, and we got on like a house on fire, me and Bon. I think we got drunk together, which wasn't anything new. and so they'd heard my name from him, and that's so I went in there. Honestly, I just thought, well, if I can sing a couple of songs with him, just think of the bragging rights I'll have when I go back to Newcastle and tell the boys in the band.
Yeah.
I sang 2 songs with ACDC. It was brilliant. Honestly, that's the way I went in. I didn't even think about it. And as I say, when I did walk in there, lads, it wasn't the happiest place on the planet. Yeah. All the boys were sitting in their seats in front of the amplifiers. They were just a little down. They'd been auditioning probably for the whole week, and I suddenly realized why it wasn't the happiest place.
Sure.
It's because every time the door opened, it wasn't Bon Scott that was coming through, it was somebody else, a stranger. And I got it, and so I just tried to make light of it all. Good old Malcolm ran over to me and said, "There you go, Brian, this is what you drink, isn't it?" And it was Newcastle Brown Ale, which is where I come from.
Yeah.
I said, "Mate, I could kill this." And I drank it. He said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "How about Nutbush City Limits by Tina Turner?" Now that got everybody's attention.
Oh, okay, all right.
And and Mal said, "Oh, hang on, I think I know that." And he started playing it. The boys picked it up, and I said, "Ready?" And we nodded, and in I went.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm not a great believer in voodoo and all this kind of stuff, but there was definitely sparks flying around.
Sure.
Fantastic. I never heard a band play like this before. They were right on the money. It was tight. It was just fantastic. Then we did, he says, "Do you know one of our songs?" And I said, "Yeah, a whole lot of Rosie. How about that?"
Yeah.
So we launched into that, and it was fantastic. And of course, we finished, and I said, "Well, thanks very much, lads." I said, "I better get going now. I've got a 6-hour drive back to Newcastle."
Right.
And I said, "But it's been fabulous." And I was walking away, and they were going, "Whoa, where are you going?" I said, "I've got to get back to work." I said, "I've got a gig tomorrow night." And that's the whole way it was. And then the manager came and I said, "Can you come back?"
Yeah.
I said, "Sure, I will, but not till after the weekend." So that was how it was. I just didn't think I stood a chance, because of all the other singers that I'd heard from the roadies that had been in there. I said, and I've been under the radar for 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, at least 8 years. So it was wonderful for me just to have a sing with them, because I'd seen them on the TV and I thought they were just brilliant.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you've got some amazing stories, obviously, in this book, and looking back on it through your whole career with the band, is there anything in this book that maybe even some of the biggest fans of your era with AC/DC or the band in general, are going to find out for the first time from your perspective?
Well, yeah, there'll be a lot of things in there, mate. There's lots and lots of different things. You see, the thing was, lads, when I replaced Bon, and I got the job and all that, I knew that there was a lot of people who were just going, "Where's he come from?
Right.
What has he done?" And that was one of the things I wanted to write the book about. I wanted to inspire people. Just keep on going. You got to remember, I was 32.
Right.
I'd been in the charts in England with Geordie, for a brief while, for about a year and a half or something, and then I all fizzled out and I was broke. And then I was looking at the job section in the paper, because I had to pay the rent.
Right. Right.
And so nothing stopped me, and I kept on going. And so some of the stories through there will be it'll be the first time people have heard them, and I just wanted to say that of all the people I met who helped me through, it's not just about me.
Yeah.
It's about all the other. It's the friends you make, lads. Yeah. You know what I mean?
True.
That help you in life, or put you right, And so there'll be a lot in there people never heard about that. So that's why I enjoy doing it, you know.
Sure.
You know, having to join the parachute regiment so I could buy a PA system. And I'd never, you know, this was like the National Guard parachute regiment. So
right.
I thought, and they give you £200 bounty if you joined, which was the exact price of a 100-watt PA system. So I could sing with the bigger bands. And of course, all that stuff. And then before I knew where I was sitting in an aeroplane in some netting with other people with tin helmets on and a parachute on me back. And then,
oh my gosh!
I know. I was just thinking, you know, there's Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger all in London, you know, getting high with all the chicks, but they're not as high as me. You know, and I really had to jump out.
Yeah.
It was,
oh my gosh!
So it's just inspire up. You know, just do what you got to do. You know, honestly, if you keep on trying at things, they really do come back.
Beautiful. The book is The Lives of Brian, available now on Amazon, all bookstores. Dude, thank you so much for introducing me to hard rock and for literally everything you've contributed to in rock and roll.
Thanks, me son. And whatever you play next, would you dedicate it to my friend Dan McCafferty from Nazareth?
100%.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Brian,
sir.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Live weekday mornings from 6 to 10 and on demand in the Rocker app. It's the best of the Rocker Morning Show on 107.7 RKR.